Welcome to the Week 9 Fantasy Football Circle of Trust, the best 2 minutes in fantasy football. Chiefs quarterback Matt Castle enters the Circle of Trust. A home game with the Dolphins for the streaking Chiefs this week. Miami has given up 14 touchdown passes and only picked off 2 passes this season. Castle has 4 interceptions in his last 2 games, but has a great chance to pick up his first 300-yard game of the season. Bengals running back Cedric Benson enters the Circle of Trust. A road game versus the Titans is Benson's first game back since his suspension. The Titans give up 129.3 yards per game on the ground, and Benson has received a heavy workload of 16 or more rushing attempts in the 6 games he's played this season. The workload should merit a solid day. Buccaneers wide receiver Mike Williams enters the Circle of Trust. On the road versus the Saints is a tall order after New Orleans lost to the Rams. However, Williams has had 6 catches in each of his last 2 contests. Coming off the bye week, priority number 1 should be to get Williams more involved in the offensive game plan. He has only 1 TD at this point of the season, and I believe he hits pay dirt this week. Eagles tight end Brent Selleck enters the Circle of Trust. At home versus the Bears and their cover 2 defense should help fantasy owners this week. The cover 2 is an opposing tight end's best friend. Selleck has had 9 targets and scored a TD in each of his last 2 contests. The Eagles' offensive line has played better recently, and Selleck's uptick in production is a direct result. The Raiders' defense enters the Circle of Trust. This pick comes from Scott 2.0. A home date with Tim Tebow is on the docket. Last year, Tebow threw for 138 yards and a score and rushed for 78 yards and a score in a Week 15 matchup versus the Raiders. After watching him get completely exposed last week, I'm going with the silver and black to put up solid numbers. And Patriots defensive end Andre Carter enters the Circle of Trust. They take on the Giants at home this week. Carter's had back-to-back 2-sack games and 5 or more total tackles in his last 3 contests. Players looking to fill in for Jared Allen or Charles Johnson could use Andre Carter. That's the Week 9 Fantasy Football Circle of Trust. I'm the baseball genius Adam Burnett. If you want to see more of my work, you can go on to baseballgenius.com. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, I'm a baseball genius.